We are not.
All right. I think we are live.
Okay, now we are.
Advertise.
Okay.
All right.
Live.
Yes, we are live. Hey, everybody. Cosmic here, and welcome to the 16th episode of MapperCast, and I am hosting today. Viper couldn't make it, so there we go. We got a bunch of guests here today. We got a bunch of great topics. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. So we have two new guests with us today. We have the Rat of Mapping, so thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really know what to say.
I don't know anything. All right. We also have Mysterious Mapping, who's joining us.
Hey guys, I'm Mysterious Mapping, also known as Mysterious Bob. I'm not a huge mapper, but I've been around in the mapping community for a long time, and I'm very interested in politics. I plan to go into political science, so mapping interests me greatly, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so if you don't know him, I've done videos with him for over 4 years on my gaming channel, so if you watch Lego Loot 2000, you should know who he is. So yeah, I'm going to go over the topics for this episode. Then
what about me?
I was just introducing the guests. We'll do the regular introductions after as we usually do. All right, so first we're gonna discuss the pros and cons of Dylan's latest series, and then we're gonna discuss the YouTube TOS changes, which has been a pretty hot button topic as of recent. So yeah. Then we're going to discuss why it is difficult for third-party candidates to gain national support in the United States. It's not exactly relevant for everyone, but we're going to discuss it. Next, the fine line between humor and harassment, which I think should be an interesting one. Then we're going to talk about Viper's current situation because there's, for those of you who know, he's going into college, and it's a whole thing. We're going to dispel some things people are saying about that. So yeah, then we'll do the Q&A as usual, then the quiz to select the mapper and fan winner, and then we'll advertise a Day of Defeat event. Also, Mindria couldn't make it, so sorry. All right, yeah. So I'm Cosmic, as you all know.
Pray for Viper and Mind.
Yep.
Hello, guys. Okay. Hello, guys. 99 Batran here, and you probably know me from Viper's MapperCast and all that. We are doing the MapperCast here today, so make sure we need to get our watchers back. So please advertise the link or something. Yes.
Okay. Finn.
Oh, okay. Well, hello people. It's my 4th time here again, so I don't know what to say.
Finn's catching up to Lee Allen in actual amounts of episodes.
My 3rd time being Lee. So yeah.
All right, Chris.
Hello, this is Summer Quiz. I hope you enjoyed this episode of MapperCast in Cosmic Mapping's channel.
Yeah. All right, so that's everybody. So first we're going to talk about the pros and cons of Dylan's World's Series 3 of Alternate Future Europe. So anyone got... who wants to talk first about that?
I can go, I guess.
All right, let's hear it.
It was really intriguing with all the mysteries that happening in his last episodes, like who nuked Russia, who nuked the UK, and that kind of stuff. And I liked how he made the British Empire fall, because I feel it was a bit, boring that the British Empire could do whatever he wanted, and he got rid of the British Empire, which was, a good idea. And yeah, I guess that's it. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. Nothing with criticism I have. That's it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this is another thing where this is the first instance in a while that I've actually didn't get the chance to watch the whole show, which is disappointing because it seems always the shows that I don't get a chance to watch fully are the shows that are like the best. Like, I really enjoyed FedEx's Alternate Future of Africa thing, but I didn't actually get to watch that in full because of last minute. So I didn't get the best experience watching that, but that's not really his show's fault. That's more of our show's fault because I was on such a time constraint. But I did get to watch like the first few episodes, and from what I saw, it was really good. Let me just get my notes. It's all buried. Okay, yeah. I think the one thing I'll say real quick is I wasn't that big of a fan of the water texture. I thought it looked a little weird. I thought it kind of looks like the back of a baby CD from like the 80s, and I don't know why that's what comes to my head, but that's what comes to my head. I like
The
the
CD in the 80s.
like a CD with songs meant for children, and I would imagine that would be on the back of it. And like I said,
Wouldn't
I
that
don't
be
know.
like a floppy disk?
Well, weren't there CDs in the 80s?
It's a pretty bad comparison.
Yeah, I know it's a terrible comparison, but that's what comes up into my head. But yeah, I'll let someone else talk.
Alright, so I was able to watch the majority of the series, and I can definitely see why Dylan is as popular as he is, with over 7,000 or so subscribers. Clearly he does a good job, and he probably gets a lot of positive feedback from it. So in my notes that I took and my feedback, I wanted to kind of give more criticism rather than focus on the things that he already knows he does well. So first, I'm with Cosmic in that I like longer video length. So you started off with about like 3 to 4 minutes on each video, which it's very short, and just kind of seems like you could only do kind of one scene per video, which doesn't seem like a show. It's more of like I don't know, some sort of improvisation thing. But then you went to 7 minutes, which is a lot better. The 3 minutes of it, you can actually feel like it's an episode. But even past that would be good. Second, I thought that the wars were too fast, and when I say that, I don't mean like the war. It doesn't matter if the war is over in 2 seconds. Like I understand that some countries are so small and so weak that they just get obliterated, but it's just the process and the stop motion that you. Or maybe not stop motion, but just the process that you did it. You kind of did big chunks at a time rather than a gradual takeover of each country. So the wars went by fast in animation, I guess. Next, I noticed that counterattacking was weak. While unlike some people, you actually did have countries that are being attacked. They actually did fight back, but it seemed like they would fight back a tiny bit and only in one area, and then they would immediately be, and then that area would immediately be retaken, and then the entire country would just be killed. It seemed like the counterattacks never actually worked. They were just kind of always unsuccessful and not thought out by the country being attacked. I feel like they would try to defend themselves on multiple fronts, not just one. Next, this was a big one for me. Because it has to do with the immersion of watching the video. I thought that a lot of the music used was kind of inappropriate. Now, when I say that, I really like the music, but for the most part, it was very unfitting. So usually you would have one long song for the entire video. The problem with this is that means that song has to fit both normal dialogue and wars and etc. So usually it's a very dramatic song. So the entire time it could just be like two countries.
Hell is that?
I don't know. It could be just two countries casually talking, and then there'd just be a dun 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 dramatic song, and it's just like it's very weird. But then of course when it gets to the dramatic wars, dramatic music is great. So I just thought at most points it was inappropriate music, and maybe you could use shorter or cut up songs that they fit the scenes better. All right, the next point I had was countries acting oblivious to situations. So, for example, I think it was I think it was called the country of Brittany. Brittany, I can't remember, but basically Brittany, when she was when the country of Brittany was next to France, and I think Spain was talking to them. Spain was like, France is gonna, kill you, but in a very vague way. Like, it's kind of like, what France is gonna do, right? And then Brittany's like, what? And it's like, it was a very it was just a very like stupid, like you obviously know what he's talking about. That France is going to turn on you, and it's not going to end in your favor. It just countries acted very oblivious and stupid to like in conversations. So maybe just like have countries be more aware and like actually know what people are talking about more. It seemed like there was a lot of just like what, like when it was very obvious. Anyway, it's kind of a confusing point, but. Anyway, next, I thought that in your later videos, your intro was a bit long. Like, in your earlier videos, your intro was fine because it had like a bunch of different clips saying, "Oh, you have this, this, this." But in the later videos, you literally just had a picture of your channel logo or whatever, and it would last like 20 seconds. Like, it's a bit. I just thought that was a bit unnecessary. It's not as important as a point, but it kind of got to me, especially since each video was short in length, and I'm constantly having to watch that intro. Next, I had countries are very fast to turn on each other. So when I say this, I mean a country. There's a lot of countries that would literally make an alliance, and within like a minute or a few minutes, they would immediately turn on those countries. Like that's a very good element to a story, saying that despite like an example was I think Britain joined the European Union of some sort, and they're just very fast to be a traitor. Like so in one episode they become a part of the Union. Next episode they're a traitor. I just thought that was very fast, and that it should be a gradual story element rather than just immediate like, oh, I'm in this alliance, now I'm not. And my final point was this one's just kind of my personal preference. The text box that you use, I'm not a big fan of using the whole text boxes and stuff, but it does look kind of nice, I admit. But especially in your earlier videos, the text box kind of was too far from the action. So when I say that, I mean the text box was on the far left, and you had the text in all of the wars and stuff. And then way over to the right of the screen, I like to put in full screen, is the war that's happening. I want to kind of be able to see the war while also seeing what they're saying, and even if it's not a war. So I just thought that maybe if you're going to use that text box, maybe put it at the bottom of the screen, so that way it's more centered and closer to the action. And then I didn't even make this a point, but I just wanted to respond to what Cosmic said about the water texture. I actually kind of liked it,
Really?
So that's clearly just it's going to vary based on people's personal preferences. But overall, it was a good series, and yeah.
All right, so Mysterious just kind of owned that segment. He
What
made
the
it his own.
hell? What happened? What happened?
Well, I gave a review.
No, it was great. That's like the longest consecutive
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, that's like how long is that? Like 10 minutes?
No, it wasn't
10
10
minutes.
minutes, but it was a really well thought out review. So good job there, Mysterious.
What the hell?
Makes me
Anyone
feel
else?
bad.
I mean, I agree with everything, or at least the majority of what he said. I don't really have any more points to make. Does anyone else have anything to say about the show before we move on?
No.
It's too bright.
What you're saying.
Well,
I can say
something.
The colors are so bright, let me tell you.
What do you want to say, Rat?
I only watched the newest episode, but you already won it for me, because if a series has good dialogue, I already like it. Like if the quality of the map is better than Jabrils, then I don't care really. And yeah, I think I have a new series to watch while I'm waiting for other mappers to make series.
Yeah, I guess like the final thing I'll add is I was a bit confused why it was Series 3 instead of Season 3, because when I saw the first episode, I was kind of under the impression that this would be like a new series. Since when people do that, they usually do like a new alternate future Europe, but I thought he was like on his third version of the show. So I don't know. I think it's a very, very minor criticism, but I would recommend using season rather than series. So yeah, any final notes on Dylan's show?
So bright.
No, it was. I like when there was no textures, because I'm not a big fan of textures in mapping.
I think
I like the old traditional mapping.
Yeah, texture mapping is definitely a personal preference. It's going to vary between people a lot, I think. Because like I'm not actually a big fan of texture mapping, but I thought the water was fine. I didn't have a problem.
I think that textures are fine as long as they don't get in the way.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll move on to the next topic, which this would normally be the fan topic, but Seplio kind of asked us to review another person's series, and we just didn't have the time. So I'm going to say, at least for when I'm the host, Viper hasn't really made this a rule, but for I'm the host, no having your fan requests be to review someone's show, because that just gives us too much stuff to do. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a fan request for this day, so we're going to move on to...
Rest in peace, Seplio.
Rest in peace, Seplio. So we're going to move on to the YouTube terms of service changes.
Ah, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so... I guess... Does anyone else...
Let's hope this doesn't get taken down.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get demonetized.
Here, I'll let you guys start.
Alright, I guess I'll say, there has been a bit much... people have actually been freaking out about this a bit too much, and let me say I completely agree with everyone's points, is that, demonetizing someone's video for having it be too or just talk about sensitive subject matter, that's ridiculous. Are we going to ban documentaries, no documentaries about World War II anymore? No, we're not going to do that. But I do think people have been freaking out a bit too much because the terms of service haven't actually changed. It's always been like this, but they just haven't told us about it. Now they're just actually telling us about it, but everyone's just sort of acting like it's a new thing. So, yeah, did anyone else have any points?
So basically, the thing about this whole terms of service thing, it affects different YouTubers differently. For mappers per se, it's not going to happen often because we don't use controversial topics per se. Even though that's a stupid thing to ban, but bigger YouTubers who, especially news people, for example, who literally talk about controversial things and things that actually matter to people, if they get their videos demonetized, they basically have their jobs ripped away. So it definitely affects people differently. My overall opinion of the changes as a whole, the way I see it, I think YouTube is just going, even though they're not voicing it, I think they're going through troubles with ad companies. They're being like, oh, we want, family-friendly videos, blah, blah, blah. And then YouTube's just kissing up to them. They don't actually want to do that. They're just doing that. So I think it'll die down, at least as far as the demonetization goes, that YouTube will slowly, kind of sneak their way back out of these terms of services. At least that's what I hope. Because as of right now, not being able to swear, not being able to talk about controversial stuff is just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like...
protected.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like advertisers don't advertise on things that are controversial. I mean, South Park is one of the most popular television shows around, and this is the show that featured an episode where men purposely gave themselves testicular cancer so that they could bounce around town on their inflated testicles, smoking.
What the heck?
That was the point of the entire episode, was men bouncing around the streets with inflated testicles, and they made millions of dollars off of it. So it makes no sense why we couldn't do it. Plus, but I will say that YouTube, people are freaking out about it a bit too much because there is actually a thing before the new terms of service. Because whenever anyone talks about the new terms of service, they sort of only show the things that can't be monetized. But it says before that if the intent is to be informative or to entertain, that it's fine. So people just sort of ignore that part. But YouTube hasn't been taking that into consideration, though. They just sort of indiscriminately demonetize things, even if they are to inform or entertain. So I think the TOS changes themselves aren't the issue, but it's actually how YouTube is enforcing it.
Yeah, like I said, I think right now YouTube is trying to save their ass. They're in some sort of trouble with these companies. They're just yeah, get rid of that, just to play safe. But I think gradually they'll stop doing that, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has been a problem on YouTube in general that the system is quite broken sometimes, when it comes to copyright claims and monetization. But I can't really tell something about it because I'm not monetizing my videos.
Make me admin.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is another thing. Like, some people have actually been, like, there are some mappers that are sort of using this as an excuse to, like, not make videos. I won't name names, but there have been some people like, oh, mapping is about war, so now I can't. Like, let's be completely honest. None of us are making a living on this. None of us are really making the amount of money if we do monetize our videos to, have it really affect us that much. So even if the YouTube TOS changes were the biggest thing in the universe, which they're really not when you read into it, it wouldn't affect us that much because we don't really make our living off this. Be nice though.
I think people use monetization on mapping just to afford like the programs they use. Like if you use Photoshop, I think you have to pay $30 a month or something.
I just monetize my videos so I can like get a sandwich and enjoy the sandwich.
Good job, mate. Don't spend money.
You make money just to get a sandwich.
That's the amount that I make though. It's like $27 a month is usually what I get.
Yeah, so basically, I don't think there's any mapper who, yet at least, that can actually live off what they make from mapping. They literally just get kind of like, spending money.
Yeah,
because like someone said about how to afford the programs. I don't think many people have programs that have subscriptions. I think people have just had a one-time buy and they have it right now. They don't really have to spend any money on mapping itself.
I can't.
Yep.
Okay. I can't really monetize my videos because, for one, I have a lot of copyright in it. Yep.
Yeah, I do. It does that because my most popular video, which is Alternate Future of the World Episode 1, which has like over 100,000 views now, I put copyrighted music in it, so I wasn't able to monetize it. If I was able to monetize it, I would have made well over $100 off of it, but I don't know. That was back when I just sort of assumed no one would watch videos.
And I don't know how to get money from it.
Well, I don't monetize my videos because I don't know how to, because I'm stupid.
It's not that.
Caustic, I asked you for help. You never.
Well, I said I'd help you, and then you never like. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Does anyone else have anything they want to add about the TOS?
Well, I could monetize my videos, but I don't see a point of it because this is my hobby, not my like job or something.
So basically, if you're worried about the new terms of service, just give it time. I have a feeling they won't last, at least with their enforcement.
Alright, so I guess we'll move on now. So, now we're going to talk about why it is difficult for third-party candidates to gain support in the United States. So, yeah, this topic was added by Mysterious Mapping, so I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, so I apologize if some of you can't fully relate to this, but I just want to talk about why it's so tough. So in America, we have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and in 9 out of 10 elections, the Democrat or Republicans will be basically the only two major candidates for presidency. So I just kind of wanted to debate with you guys why we think that no other parties, or independents as they're called, even have a major chance in the presidential election.
I think, okay, you go first.
Well, I personally think that since the parties are technically smaller and have smaller members, they don't really have the money power or the advertisement power as the larger parties do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a good point because media is a major part in it.
I definitely agree on this.
Media is a huge part in it.
Yeah. I agree on this because, like, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are just, compared to the third parties, like the Green Party, I think it's called, they are just so ginormous and they have so much money behind them. And also, I personally think that they are really filled with corruption and all this. So, yeah, I mean, in Russia, Putin is able to take out, like, if there is an opposition which could be dangerous, he just sues him for something and then he's out of it. So yeah, and I think
Yeah.
like they could do the same thing technically.
I mean, really, it's all about it's all about money and media, because I'm absolutely positive that there are more people around the country that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party don't necessarily represent their values, so they might not know about the third party. So I think it's about time. I think a good place for us to start would be to actually allow third-party candidates in the debates, because that's what the debates are like. They are the battles of the presidential elections. They are what sway voters. They're what make elections. These debates. So, and right now we have a ridiculous standard that you can't qualify for the debates in America unless you have 15% or over support, where Gary Johnson is close to that, but Jill Stein has like 6%, highest I've seen 8%. So that would put two conservative-leaning people on the stage and one pretty much conservative-leaning Democrat, which sort of leaves out an entire portion of the population, which is the liberal population, where I don't personally think I am a liberal, but I don't support Jill Stein because I think she's just a little bit too out there. But I do think that it's important to have everyone on the stage so that we can actually have free debate and exchange of ideas.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that too about Gary Johnson. Like, the problem is that because, the media and just everything funds the Republican and Democratic parties so much, and they get all of the coverage, they get all of the funds, they have all the advertising, is that the independents don't get enough recognition. The thing is, Gary Johnson is so close to being able to get in the debate, and I have a feeling if he was to get into the debate, he would have a good chance of rallying a lot more support because people actually know his name. I see every person, just about every person I talk to doesn't know who he is. I saw some people in the chat say they don't even know who he is. It's because he doesn't have the media coverage. He doesn't have the advertisement that the Democratic and Republicans do.
That's how Kasich lost.
I think the problem with independents, I'm sorry, not the problem with independents. What a problem with an independent jumping into this race at the least is that if, say, Gary Johnson was to rally a lot of supporters now, I feel like he might split the vote on either side. So, like, let's say the Republicans are, they're very, I don't want to say stubborn. They're just very keen on Trump, and they're not going to change their minds no matter what. But the Democrats, there's like half the Democrats that currently are voting for Hillary because they're Democratic now like Gary Johnson. I have a feeling if the independent comes in, he might split the vote. So that would give Trump more votes. So that's a problem. I feel like if an independent comes in, at least at this point in the race, it might be a problem.
You go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it is all about media coverage, really. I mean, it's at the point where they have such little media coverage that the most they can do is split the election so that a different candidate wins, which, especially given this election, we don't want. But I mean, there are just so many candidates that need chance. Like, there's another candidate, I think his name is Daryl Castle. He's of the Constitution Party, and we didn't even mention him. We didn't even, because no one knows him. He has, like, 1.2% or something. But, maybe that'd be higher if you actually had coverage. So I think it's time that we actually have something like a government-sanctioned election channel on TV and the internet that can actually give equal coverage to these candidates. Because it's when we have, I mean, I'm all for independent media, but when I think for the election we need to have some type of sanctioned, controlled media that can cover these people. I'm not saying that we should control all the media, obviously, but I do think that we should have some sort of state-supported media that covers the election, because when we have independent media, they tend to cover the people that give them the most money. Like CNN, Hillary Clinton poured a lot of money into them, so they covered her and gave her favorable things and barely covered Bernie Sanders. So when we have this type of system, it's just set up from the beginning because of the parties and because of the media that we don't really have any serious third-party candidates.
in Germany it is like this, that the media usually doesn't cover the parties at all, except when there are like regional elections or something. Then most of the time, every party that has been in I don't know the name, that had over 5% in the last election are getting covered most of the time, and like all the other parties that are under 5%, they like go under the category other parties.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I need to go off topic for a second because Welsh mapping just, I think, what? Okay, let me just say, I know socialist is probably a very big dirty word to you, but pretty much every country is socialist. The United States is socialist. We have social programs, things like the military and the police. Those are social programs. So really, every country is socialist. It's just, in your mind, socialism probably just means like tanks and Soviet flags waving over Western cities. Oh no, run!
Not, it's not if you have like social help. You're not automatically a socialist country. It's just like a thing that, like, what I hear the most is capitalism with socialist elements. But if you would be socialist, you wouldn't, like, everyone would share the wealth, like everyone would have the same amount of money and all this.
Welsh was ironic. I'm sorry, Welsh. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were being ironic.
Now that you roasted him, and he's on your side.
Or he.
Good job, Cosmic.
Yeah, I converted someone. Alright, so does anyone else have any things to say about third-party candidates?
No, I think we stated.
I literally said nothing at this.
Me
Because I
neither.
know nothing.
Do you have anything similar?
I feel you, Chris. I feel you.
I know. We Europeans don't know much about America.
Well, I'm a
We
European.
don't need it.
I guess we
Just have to
Nordics,
be
whatever.
interested in politics.
Yeah, but on American politics, I'm really. I keep to my own nations.
Us Americans could learn a lot about European politics.
Yeah. Okay, even though that is probably offensive, but like where I live, a lot, like especially also my father, like say, the USA is the Christian equivalent of Saudi Arabia. Like that's my father and like my grandparents and like all the older generations here say.
That does sadden me though, because I do hear that when I hear like what other people from foreign nations think about the U.S., it saddens me. It really does sadden me because we're a great country. We got good people, we got good culture, we got good cities, but because of our government and just the way we run, the people of other nations have such a negative view about us, and that, I don't know, that really saddens me. I wish we could put our best foot forward for the rest of the world, but now everyone sees us as a people who invaded an innocent country and are about to elect Donald Trump.
I find it very ironic that, well, they think that the USA is all imperialist and the problem for most of the world's problems, but it's not the USA is not the worst country to invade everyone. I mean, Britain. No offense to any British people, but Britain invaded practically almost every country in the world throughout history, except for like 20. Except for Asia.
Yeah, but that's kind of like back in history. It's just like saying Germany's bad because Nazi Germany invaded Europe 1940.
I would still agree with what Baron's saying though for now, because I mean people tend to judge us for what we did in Iraq as of recent. They'll say no, that was recent, but that was a different establishment. That was the George W. Bush presidency, and he was the absolute worst. He completely destroyed our country, and pretty much everyone hated him by the end of his term. So I mean, I don't like when people judge us based off what Bush did. I don't know, saddens me. I mean, like no one judges Mongolia based on what Genghis Khan did. No one shames Mongolia.
You shouldn't really. I don't think we Sorry. I don't really think we should blame like one person for an entire problem that happens to our country.
Well, if they cause it, I think we should.
I mean, yeah, but well, George Bush may have partially caused it, but he's not the only one that caused it, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
it's also people he appointed, like Dick Cheney and all of his senators and Supreme Court people.
I know, but technically, Bush was. Well, everyone thought that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction back then, right? The Democrats, Bill Clinton.
Everyone thought.
Yeah, everyone thought it, but after that, when people found out that there's like I don't know, not a lot of evidence of any, people blame George Bush for it because he invaded Iraq for it, even though a lot of people asked him to invade Iraq, and after Kuwait or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like we shouldn't judge countries by their past. And I mean, I live in Germany, and we had the abomination that Adolf Hitler was. Like,
Yeah, I mean, imagine if everyone judged Germany.
if it wasn't for Hitler, like, okay, World War I damaged the reputation of Germany already, but like it was okay. On the other side, like I am thankful for Hitler, so like he ruined Germany, and therefore we got our debts cut, and yeah, and the U.S. babysitted us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
And-
take that.
And Russia, well, like in East Germany, they are not. Some of the policies that East Germany had, I support, but especially like the secret agencies, like it was under 112 people. It was guaranteed that one of those 112 people was an agent for the Secret Service of the GDR. And like compared, like the Soviet Union had like every 300 people, and the US had like at every 1,000 people or something during the Cold War. And yeah.
I don't know. Well, I just think it's ridiculous how people will judge countries based on their governments. Because my father, when countries do things that are terrible, the citizens all feel guilty about that, and to judge the citizens of a country based on that, I think is just reprehensible. My father told me a story a couple of weeks ago. My dad's a musician. If you don't know, he's Chris Fisher. He does music for my videos sometimes. He has traveled the world sometimes because people need him to do shows in Europe and Asia. And he was telling me he went to Germany once, and he had a friend there, and he was very curious. So he just asked him, like, what is it like for the German people to know that their nation did that, and how do you feel about it? And his friend just responded with, it weighs on the mind of every German every day, and it is absolutely horrible. So I mean, these people,
It's not like really like this. It's okay. We have like the sense, like if I see a swastika, my brain says, "Oh God," but because it's also probably because Nazi symbolism is illegal in Germany to be shown, even though it's like anti-Nazism and anti-national socialism. Because I heard that there was a punk shop which sold T-shirts with a crossed-out swastika on it, and the police actually raided it because they had the swastika on it.
Yeah, that's one thing I actually kind of disagree with.
But well, I agree with it because people that come to Germany, if they see a swastika, they shouldn't see swastikas, because like when they think the stereotype is right, every German is a fucking Nazi. And yeah, I think the law is good.
I don't know. I feel that obviously these things are reprehensible, but I don't know. I'm a firm believer in free speech, and I think that even if an idea is absolutely horrible, reprehensible, and evil, I think you should still be able to think it or say it. Like here in America, we have sort of our...
It's not like we'd
You can
censor
turn
the
and
Confederate flag.
yeah,
like,
you can turn an evil idea into good, right? We have the capability of turning an evil idea to make it useful to to benefit anyone.
And I would say like
Either way.
our equivalent of the
Except for genocide, that's best.
that cannot be.
Dude.
But our equivalent of the swastika here in America, I wouldn't say it's as bad as the swastika because That was just horrible. But our equivalent of the swastika is a Confederate flag, and I think anyone who flies it is an absolutely reprehensible, horrible person. But I don't think they shouldn't be allowed to. I think people should be allowed to fly the Confederate flag. I disagree with it, and I think it's fine for people to. I support people debating with each other and, engaging in debates and actually growing each other's minds. But to ban thoughts and things that people say, I don't think that's the right way of going about it.
I think it's fine to say that you shouldn't have a Nazi flag or symbol in public around Germany, but the whole even if a video game talks about it or even has a swastika, it should be banned in Germany. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. Wait, I forgot what I said. Yes. Okay, it is not banned for educational purposes and all that, but it has been really burned in our mind. But people still find a way to go around this, and it's like this. If you see a flag like the black, white, red one that the German Kaiserreich had, if you see this flag, it's almost guaranteed that this person supports Adolf Hitler. It's just like this.
I think they should be allowed to support Adolf Hitler, though.
Unless it's in a museum.
That's the thing. I don't think they should, and I would argue with that person and absolutely destroy them on why they're a terrible piece of shit. But I think that they should be allowed to. I think that allowing people to have reprehensible and evil morals like the Confederates and the Nazis, I think that's honestly I think that's the liberal position. Because for me, liberalism means letting people be free and letting people have horrible ideas. And letting you debate against them. That's what I don't know. That's what I believe. Yeah, I accept others' opinions, but when it comes to the point that, you say, these people have to be really discriminated in public, they have to be killed in public, whatever. That's for me there is a line, and when this line is crossed, then I don't accept it anymore. And it's also, if someone accepts my opinion, then I in general also accept their opinion.
I like how the talk of independence and the presidential election shifted over to censorship.
Yeah, we've been.
It seems like it always leads to censorship.
We've been on this topic for a very long time, so I think we should move on. So, that was a great conversation.
I'm going to close it off here. Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, overall, whether you think something is good or bad or someone's evil or good, history would basically judge people more favorably in due time. Back then, in Napoleonic times, people think that Napoleon was like the Adolf Hitler of the 1800s. But nowadays, people tend to, glorify Napoleon. So maybe in a couple centuries, Germany's laws would loosen about the swastikas, and people, would celebrate. Well, not really celebrate, but acknowledge Adolf Hitler as part of their
No, but the difference is Napoleon was just a leader. He wasn't a murderer.
I know. Well, Napoleon conducted massacres and genocide before. He massacred some Spanish population.
I'm not denying that, but in people's minds, he's just a leader. In people's minds, Hitler is a murderer.
And trying to make everyone French. But like I said, history would judge people more favorably. Even George Bush.
History is written by the victor.
I believe Chris has something to say.
We need to win. Yeah, Chris, what do you want to say?
No, I lost the thought.
Okay.
Continue.
All right, so that's the end of that very long topic. Good conversation, everybody. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is the fine line between humor and harassment. This has been a very controversial thing the last couple of years with all sorts of shit going on, like the alt-right movement. So I have a lot of things to say about this, but I'll let someone else talk first. Bob suggested this.
I suggested this because we have a lot of political and YouTube-based topics. So I thought I'd bring up a social topic, and this is probably a very controversial one. The fine line between humor and harassment. What this means is people. So when I guess the easiest way to explain is to give an example. When feminism, that's a very easy example. When a man says a joke and a woman takes it as feminine, or I'm sorry, a feminist takes it as sexist or harassment, or just anything. Is there, you gotta draw a line between what's just humor and fine humor and what's harassment. And I think people are too quick to say that something is harassment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think that on both sides people are too quick. Like, some people are too quick to call something humor, and a lot of people are too quick to call things harassment. Like, some people just make generalized jokes, and then some idiot feminist with 2 brain cells will come and go, "I'm harassed." That's wrong, and we should fight against that. But
Liberals.
on the other side of the spectrum, I do think there are some times where some guy will just be acting like a complete horrible human being and go up to someone and just say, "You would look better as my toilet." Okay, maybe that's not a good thing, but just call them horrible racial slurs and everything.
Even if they're not being a terrible person, it's something like as subtle but too far as like, "Damn, girl, you got a nice ass." Like, it's a bit too much.
Yeah, like that's not. I don't think that's harassment. I think that's just, it can be
What
taken
about?
as off-putting.
Well,
but I
should
don't call it
troll?
harassment.
Well, here's the controversial subject here. Should trolling be classified as harassment or humor?
Honestly, I think it depends, because some people view trolling.
Humor is for the troll,
some
but
people view,
harassment
like,
for the other
doxing.
person.
As trolling.
Because some people view doxing as trolling, and that is just an absolutely horrible thing that can ruin people's lives and put them in danger. And I would definitely call that harassment. And just direct threats, like some people will say, "I'm going to come to your house and murder your family." That's harassment. Any way you paint the picture, that's harassment. Some people will claim it's humor. If so, you got a very strange sense of humor.
Bro. Just a break, bro.
It really depends on the person. Like, when I have tell jokes fan, I'm first thinking to which person I'm talking to. Like, with my friends, I know I can pull out really black humor, really that many people would call offensive, but they know that it's just meant as a joke. And on the internet, for example, I'm quite careful with this, because some people just get harassed so much, and neither I have the time nor I have the ambition to argue with someone just because I said a joke about, I don't know, about a certain group of people or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what matters in the end is intent of what it is, because some people say reprehensible things that a lot of people would find offensive and maybe harassing, but that doesn't mean that you are that. Like, with my sense of humor, I've been called a racist multiple times throughout my life. I'm not a racist. I am anything but a racist. So, just because your sense of humor is a certain way doesn't make you a bad person. Anyone else want to talk? Or?
Nope.
Okay, is that all?
Sorry, I have something to say. I was just... So, a shining example that I saw recently was... I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but humongous.
Oh,
Is this familiar to anyone? Anyway, so basically, I'll summarize the video. Humongous is basically a video of a crazy social justice warrior asking a man what his name is. And he's, probably a 40-something, maybe 50-year-old man, probably a dad, and he says, humongous. Now, most people can probably tell that this is like 90% chance a joke. His name is probably not humongous, but nonetheless, it's a joke, and it's a harmless one. But what the woman proceeds to do is to be extremely offended and constantly yell at the man for saying that joke. And she goes as far as to say that he sexually harassed her. And she made a gigantic deal of this. She recorded it, put it on YouTube. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to any woman ever. This is not okay. The fact that she is so quick and strongly to say that this is sexual harassment is too far.
Yeah, let's just put it out there. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment. You have to actually sexually harass someone going up to them, groping them, doing something like that's sexual harassment. Not saying that your name is humongous, which, by the way, obviously we all know is a joke, but his name could have very well been humongous. It's not like it's that far-fetched of a name. It's humongous.
Yeah, like,
So-
okay. But chances are that's not his actual name, but regardless, a joke is a joke, okay?
A
On the
joke
slight
is
off
a
chance that
joke.
that actually is his name, he was smiling an awful lot to,
Yeah, it's jokes are not harassment, people. Jokes are not harassment.
If he's had said, humongous, cock, something like that. Like, something that's clearly sexual, clearly, kind of, like, uncomfortable, whatever. But he just said humongous. He could be referring to just his overall size. He didn't even really specify. And the problem is she wants him to specify. She basically wants him to continue
What?
the joke and continue what he's saying, which doesn't make sense because she's clearly offended by it.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous situation. I don't know. Does anyone else have any words about this? Before we move
Chris.
on, Chris.
No, I don't got anything.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think we've vented enough on this.
All right. So that's that. So that's it for the social political part of the podcast. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Viper's current situation. For those of you who don't know, he's going to college or university, depending where you live, what you call it. And he's not quitting, but he's sort of like half quitting. I don't know the complete context behind
He
it.
doesn't have the time to do stuff. You could say that at least.
Yeah. So,
Here's the way I see it. Basically, I see it as Viper, for a very long time has been a dedicated mapper who spends countless hours on his videos, and it's basically his entire life. He absolutely loves mapping, and he makes tons of mapping videos. But he's reached an impasse in his life where the time that he spends on mapping videos is no longer available. So the way I see it, I don't think he's quitting. I think what he's trying to say, even though he won't say it, is that while he will remain a part of the mapping community, he can no longer continue to make mapping videos nearly as frequent as he would like to or used to. Do I think that he's, going to take months to upload a video? No. What he probably means is like one video every so often compared to like a video every 2 days. So basically, I think he's just stepping down as a mapper, but not as a part of the mapping community. And even at that point, I think he's still a mapper. He's just,
I think
he's going to have to stick to about the schedule as everyone else.
I think
Cosmic, myself, and just about everyone here, almost.
I,
Their schedule is basically upload a video every couple months or couple weeks or so. Not every week.
I think that Viper would still be a mapper. I agree, but I don't think he would necessarily stop mapping. He'd probably upload a lot less videos during his college years. That doesn't mean he stops.
He said that he wanted to do, if he has time, new alternate history of Europe, which is a series that apparently doesn't take that much time.
Yes.
to make.
It's like if he dedicates at least 1 hour a day, he could be do a lot of things. They make pop out mapping videos, but hey.
Yeah, I don't know how university is in Canada, but like in Germany already, if you go to high school, it's like, at least where I live, I don't go yet to high school, like in 2 years or so. It starts at grade 11. Where it is so, you usually go from like 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning until, depending on when, like either 4 p.m. or 6 p.m.
That's basically
afternoon.
what I'm doing.
And
doing
after that, usually you have to spend like 2 or 3 hours of homework, and then another 1 or 2 hours learning for like tests or something. And I couldn't imagine, like, if this point hits and I'm still doing mapping, then I probably will have to like restrict it to vacations and when I can do mapping.
yeah. So he's like, he's half quitting, I guess. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to quit. A lot of people who quit nowadays sort of just quit because they want to, but he is actually sort of, now I won't say being forced to quit because he's not quitting, but he's being forced to take this break. So I think once he gets the chance to, he definitely will come back.
Maybe in about a couple of years, he may start pumping out lots of videos again if he comes back.
Plus, isn't there summer break in college? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we'll probably see him during that.
a lot more. I mean, a lot more. He'll still be around in college years, but he'll be like back to normal, or in this summer or something, or in holidays.
Yeah, it's very true. Just because I can understand totally how, just starting school, it can be kind of stressful and stuff, and how he probably wants to focus on the stuff to do well. But as he gets used to it and adjusted, he will probably slowly increase production.
Yeah, I think he said that he studies for 13 hours a day.
Oh,
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That seems like a bit much.
There's a story that time that I asked him that so you have to study for stuff, and I said, well, you have to study for 13 hours a day. Well, you have to study for 13 hours a day, and he said yes. I think that's what happened. I don't know, but he studies a lot of hours.
Well, I hope he's exaggerating because that's pretty bad.
Probably.
it's really
Like,
like if I hear like the school system of other countries, it just seems so extreme. Like in
yeah.
Germany, it's only like this. I have, if there's depending on when time, because it varies when school ends here. Usually I have to go to school either on 7:50 a.m. or 8:35 a.m. and then like either to 12:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m. and or 3:15 p.m. And usually I have to go home on 1:30 p.m. And like if I hear in America, you usually stay like 4 p.m. to school.
No, so I'm not sure if anyone else is public schooled, but I'm public school, and basically for me, I get to school at 7 and then leave around 3.
Like, yeah, our education system in America is absolutely insane. I am extremely lucky because I'm homeschooled. My parents believe in freedom. So, I mean, in America, we have the most insane it focuses pretty much all on just mandatory testing and not actually on educating children or educating the next generation. That's not what we focus on.
Or preparing them for college anyways, at least in high school.
Exactly. It's just preparing people for tests. It's just take this test so you're ready for the next test, then the next test. And let's be honest, when are we all going to use algebra in our daily lives? It's completely useless. I believe that the prime function of school should be
algebra is more useful, but it's things like chemistry, trigonometry.
Even that, like, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of countries that has a lot more mathematics than the United States.
Yeah, I think that's honestly dumb. Like, yeah, teach people basic math, but it's just so much wasted hours learning like advanced math. At least for people who don't want to get into a field that involves mathematics, it's completely useless. It's literally hours upon hours of your life wasted doing nothing. You could spend that time learning about something that you actually care about, or being prepared for I believe that the prime function of schooling should be to help equip the next generation with jobs and actually have them contribute to our economy into the.
Well, that's the thing, because that's what college does. The thing about high school is that they're trying to get you into college, and what the colleges want is for you to do all of this useless stuff so that you can then go and learn the stuff you actually want and need to learn to get a job.
Is it mandatory to go to college in the US?
It's not mandatory, but if you want a good job,
pretty
you're
much
going to want a degree.
Oh god.
It's really stupid in this country. Like,
well, if people expect,
many years ago, like under FDR, for example, it was possible to just have a high school education and get a good job, get a decent paying job that you could live on. But and when I say it's possible, I don't mean that you actually really need the education of a lot of these things. You'll be fine, but it's the degree that really matters. So before, it was possible to get a good paying job with just a high school, but we've gotten to a point where if you don't take out thousands of dollars of loans and spend 4 years in a building, then you can't get a job. You can't survive. And even then, you might not survive, especially with all those loans. I mean, look at Viper. He had to take out a $40,000 loan to go to college. So, and he's going to be dealing with that for a very long time. So, I mean,
You have
we need
to
to make
pay
sure we're
for
fine.
the colleges just to go to there.
You have to pay for college in America. It is like it is one of the biggest issues in this country. You have to pay sometimes hundreds of thousands if you want to go to a good college.
Well, if we weren't so in debt, college would be free.
In Germany, it
But you can
depends.
afford it, though. That's the
For
thing.
some universities, you have to pay money. For the most, you don't, and you only have to pay for like the flat. And even there, you can get help from the state.
The thing about
They basically give you money that you have to pay back at the end of your time at university.
Yeah, I mean, you go.
Well, nowadays jobs are like I know have higher degrees and all that because companies are really looking for people who are more experienced than someone with a high school diploma or something. Yeah.
And at least where I live, companies usually also search more for like that only have a middle school degree or whatever it is called.
Wow.
And like my father, he didn't go to high school and neither to like university or something, and he has quite a good paid job. Like we can afford an upper middle class lifestyle.
Oh, I'm going to Germany.
What?
I'm coming to Germany. Can I say you rat? I'm gonna live there now.
Well, you could come. We still have like the EU laws that allow you to travel and live in each country.
Yay!
In
EU.
the United States, we are bred to think big. Alright, we're
Big, but it's like people in this country, everyone tells you live your dream, but if you're
dreaming all that.
the part that people leave out is if your dream doesn't fit into global capitalism, you're fucked. That's
I don't think that you should judge capitalism all on that.
I believe in capitalism. I don't think that communism is better. Communism usually
We don't. I mean,
can't
companies
judge-
don't really judge. Most companies don't really judge if you're communist or not. As long as you're a good worker and they'll pay you. That's basically it.
That's the thing though, is that we had our type of unregulated capitalism is completely run on the basis of get every single dollar you can. There's no morality in any of it. It's not. Let's make it.
The United States does have heavy regulations, food like the Food and Drug
We have
Administration.
regulations, but we don't have enough. Like that. Those are just some of the basic regulations we need to make sure that the citizens don't get poisoned by their food because the company wanted to save 2 cents.
Well, at
And
least, at least we're not the other countries that has lots of regulations.
Well, that's regulations isn't a dirty word. A lot of the time, it's a good. Like we have some of the regulations to make sure that we don't die, even though we have fracking that ruins people's water, and then they drink they drink lead and die. But that's a completely other thing. We don't have the moral regulations that make sure that people can actually live their lives without worrying every day if they're going to be able to put food on the table. Like, I believe in capitalism, but I don't believe in unregulated capitalism. I believe that we need to have a system where people can actually afford to live.
So, to sum it up, Viper is still a mapper, but he will not most likely will not be uploading it as often.
This is supposed to be about Viper.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I think
I
that unless anyone else has anything to add.
Does anyone else have anything to add about this?
No? Alright.
All right, so I'm going to move on to the next topic, which I don't know why, but somebody deleted it from the topic list. So it's not in the description, but the topic is supposed to be people who quit because they lost motivation in mapping, or just people losing motivation in mapping. I have some strong opinions about this, but I want to let someone else talk about it.
Yeah,
So.
people. Yeah, I never did that, and I would never think of doing that. That's never happened to me.
Yeah, I have something to say. Basically, the way I see it, I don't think it's that people lose motivation per se, but I think that there's some points in people's lives where they feel like, yeah, I have the energy and I have the focus to, look at this mapping thing and work on it for hours straight. And then a few weeks later, they're working on the next video and they just completely don't even feel like doing it. They get lazy. So I don't think it's that people lose motivation. I just think that people have different periods and, just different, weeks where they feel like mapping and other weeks where they don't. So I don't think people really are losing motivation due to anything. I just think that they get points where maybe, I don't know, maybe they're even having a brain fart. They don't have too many good ideas. They just don't really have the mental focus to work on mapping that time. I don't know how Viper does it because he's constantly, in the past he's constantly done it. Obviously he has the focus to do it, but not everyone does.
Yeah, I had also my ups and downs, and currently I had period where I wasn't that motivated. But luckily I today was able to finish the last episode of the series. And now I can finally have some space to breathe, so that I only have to focus on one series, especially because school's just started last week. And sometimes I don't need to pause completely quitting mapping. I just adjust the videos I make. If I'm in a mood that I really want to do mapping, then I do videos that take a lot of time. If I'm not in the mood, then I do videos that don't take a lot of time, which I can just make easily, where I don't need not as much motivation as I need on Ferrum, for example. It's really an series that was really dependent on my motivation. So yeah, it's probably not because people are losing motivation, but the different way how people handle this.
Yeah, I'm kind of in my down period right now because I used to upload videos each week. Now it is each 1 or 2 months.
My mic has been muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was wondering why everyone was each time I was talking, someone was talking over me. So
that happened to me.
Okay, I'll say what I say is yeah, I agree with everything Bob was saying, or Tom, or whatever you people call him. So yeah, I agree with that.
You just call me Mysterious.
Yeah, I'll call you Mysterious. I call him Bob. It's a long story. I won't go into it. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose motivation to make mapping videos. It's the same thing with everything but it isn't permanent. It doesn't mean that you're never gonna want to do it again. Some people, when they lose motivation, you're like, oh, that's it, quitting, never coming back to this. If I quit every time I lost motivation in mapping, I would have left in January 2015, and I didn't even start my channel yet. It's sometimes you have writer's block. That's what it's professionally called, writer's block. Sometimes you just don't have the motivation to write or to make videos. It's just how life works. Everything that you do, you're not going to want to do at certain points.
Right.
So,
I think the only for sure time that anyone could lose motivation is if they've been doing it for a very long time and they've worked very hard and they've just expended all the ideas and effort that they've had. If you've done mapping for a long time, a couple years, and you've just done everything that you could possibly think of, then maybe you lose motivation, and just maybe you don't have as many ideas as you used to. But still, you got to give it time. You can't just say, oh, one day I'm done. If it lasts more than a few months that you don't feel motivated, then you probably have lost motivation. But again, I don't see it happening unless you've done it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened to me all the time. There's just sometimes, even for 2 months or something, I won't want to make a video. Maybe I just want to sit down and do nothing, and I don't like that, but it's just a thing. is sometimes you go through phases where you just don't want to do something. It doesn't mean you never want to do it again, like so many people interpret it as. I don't know. So yeah, that's
Usually
why.
I can push myself when I don't have like motivation. I usually can still push myself to make a video because I want to be keep my video output consistent. Otherwise, I will get butt raped by the YouTube algorithm. And yeah.
Yeah. And honestly,
Okay. Can I speak?
Finn? Oh, yeah. You
Oh
have
my
been-
God,
you have been
Finn.
trying to speak. You've been quiet for like the last hour. Let's hear you say something.
Oh, I didn't have a chance to speak. This thing, losing motivation, is been with me like in 1 year. As you can see, my videos are really. I make my videos really inactive. I don't know. So by this point, I should quit, but I haven't done it because I don't know. Okay, I'm frozen. I thought what I was gonna say, but now I'm speaking. I lost it. So killing me. I'm cringy.
Finch.
Okay.
Don't say that.
Yes, Chris. Now you can speak.
No, it's not appropriate anymore. What I was gonna say, it lost.
All right. Does anyone else have?
Yeah, any more talking points? Talking points. It's Fox News now.
Four.
Talking points memo with Bill O'Reilly.
I want to quit.
Put these.
I guess a good example is I am mapping. He left mapping. I was like, oh no, I am mapping. He left. Oh
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna say
But he returned. I don't know how much time, but he did return after all.
he did come back. So
Thank
yeah, bottom line is if you're losing motivation to make mapping videos, it doesn't mean you're never going to want to do it again. Hell, even right now, I'm kind of not feeling that motivated to work on videos, and I know that that's fine. And that maybe a week or two, or just maybe tomorrow, I'll want to do it all completely because these things happen. You go through writer's block. It's what you signed up for when you decided to be an artist. I don't know. So yeah, I guess we'll close this off unless anyone else has anything to say.
Basically, people lose, at least in mapping, people lose motivation temporarily, but not many lose it permanently.
All right, so we'll move on now. So now, finally, here is the free-for-all Q&A. So ask any question you want. We're going to try to answer every question we can, so go right ahead.
What about the mapping winner and fan winner?
That's after the Q&A.
Okay, let's try to do it. Hurry.
Yeah, we'll do a 20-minute Q&A. We won't do it for that long. Or maybe just... So yeah, in 20... If you want to be the mapper winner or fan winner, just wait 20 minutes. So yeah, Q&A.
Okay, it's actually scheduled the time to be 3 p.m., but okay.
Everyone wants Mysterious as a regular.
Yes,
Cosmic, why did you sub to me, and how did you find me? From Alan Mapping?
Okay, whatever.
It was, honestly, I want to come out here and say how I did, but I don't remember you. I'll go check out your shit.
Ooh,
Like, I
roasted.
know, not roasted. Okay, I remember
Oh, it
your
is.
name. I know your name. I know who you are, but I haven't watched your videos in a while. So let me go check. I'll remember who you are. Oh yeah, I remember you. I haven't seen your videos in a while, but I don't know. You just popped up in my recommended. I saw a video and I subscribed.
Welsh Mapping says, my question is, do you agree with the UK's free healthcare? Does anyone live in the
Yes, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah,
UK? Like, I feel like to give a justified opinion, you really have to
It's not
experience
American
living
enough.
with it.
No, that's dumb. If what, Battlehead?
Free healthcare is good. Okay.
Healthcare is great. My this is a topic very, very personal to me because my family hasn't had healthcare for the last 4 months because of some weird glitch our health insurance company had, and they're not refusing, but they keep saying, yeah, we'll do it. That was 4 months ago. I'm consistently getting sick. I have some weird infection on my stomach, and I can't get it checked out because it'll cost $200, and we can't afford that because we don't make enough. Even though my parents work all day.
$200 and never mind.
It costs an insane amount of money to go to the doctor. It's like here another a health problem I have is sometimes my ear will get completely clogged, and I can't hear anything out of it. And that is a really, really big nuisance, but it costs like $300 fucking to get it flushed.
What?
Yeah.
But
if you have a low income, then the state pays for you, and if you have a high income, you have to.
Yeah, I think that's
company.
I don't want to
have to pay them.
Because it's ridiculous. There's been so many times where I've been having a horrible health problem, and I can't fix it because can't afford it. What kind of an immoral government does that to its citizens, especially when the government can afford it, like our government?
The government that's in debt?
Our government is fine. They make
yeah, but they'll make less money.
But it's... I'm sorry.
You are the country with in debt.
Okay. Kid Survivalist asks, how old are you guys? I am 18 going into my senior year of high school.
I thought you were 17.
I'm 17. I'm going to my senior year of high school.
I'm
15, I guess.
I'm 16.
Soon 16, going, actually just started my second education.
I'm 15.
Okay.
I feel bad because I don't want to say it or I don't want to jinx it or something, but I haven't had any, physical or illness for like 6 years.
Only Bro 555 asks, is Leafy is here? Yeah, I'm sorry. Is Leafy is here? Connect humor or harassment?
Well,
I'm pretty sure I replied to you because I'm pretty sure you asked this earlier in the chat. I said that Leafy, his criticism of videos is humor, but his criticism of people is harassment. Because he goes as far to say that when people are fat, cows, blah, 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 that's harassment. Saying that a video is cringy, whatever. Saying that a person themselves is bad to an extent is harassment.
I think Leafy is a reprehensible, horrible human being. He's just the person. He has the worst points too. Like his arguments against Keemstar is like, look at this 40-year-old man making fun of a 20-year-old. It's like the worst arguments. So
how about
the internet?
What about those times Keemstar swatted?
I don't know. I don't like Keemstar either. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think Keemstar is a good person, but I think that Leafy makes terrible arguments against him a lot of the time.
His argument that Keemstar is an adult and he shouldn't be arguing with these people is invalid because he's also an adult. So, anyway.
Yeah, Leafy is an adult.
Let's move off of Leafy.
I despise him.
Oh, God. JRTR Mapping says, if you met a country ball, what would you talk about? How would you communicate with a country ball?
I will see what up is.
Ask him out.
Right.
Be like
something.
So,
you are adorable.
You enjoy being in a ball form. I don't know.
I would say can pull it into space.
My buttons on my keyboard are not working. What the?
Shadow Green Wolf.
It's depending on what country ball I need.
Thoughts on video mapping. Video mapping is how I found mapping. I saw some Emperor Tiger Star videos, and that's how I found Alternate Future. So I owe a lot to video mapping. I mean, I don't have anything against it. It was a pretty big controversial thing back in 2015 when a bunch of mappers were switching over to video mapping, and it was like there was sort of a mapping versus video mapping little war going on. So I don't know. I've moved past it. I have nothing against video mappers. I think I enjoy the content. I mean, I watch your videos. I enjoy your videos. So it's got a. I wish that a video mapper would make a how to video map tutorial. Not because I want to, but I am fascinated on how they actually do the research and learn like all of the front lines of every day of a battle.
I personally think that people should tell the difference between a mapper or a Mapperdonian and a video mapper because we're not the same thing.
Yeah, we're not.
Definitely.
It's cool. It's
Okay.
cool,
Sorry if I
Uh,
mispronounce this, but I think Tyrell Diego says, "Okay, what do you think of the Caribbean?"
Just all Caribbean nations or Caribbean?
So,
Oh,
general
I
opinion on the
Caribbeans
Caribbean.
are the
Oh yeah, the
Caribbeans.
only place I've been outside the United States is some couple islands in the Bahamas in the Caribbean.
I went to the Caribbean, but only in Punta Cana, and the Dominican Republic. So it's not exactly. I don't think it's a very good representation of all the Caribbeans, but I mean, at the place, it was very nice. Or actually, no, I take that back. Because on the way to it was at a resort. I'm not trying to brag, just saying it was at a resort. But on the way to the resort, everything I saw around me was terrible. But as soon as I got into the resort, it was a very nice place. So the area around the resort, not so nice. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
The
Yeah,
closest,
Not a good representation, I imagine.
the closest I've been to the Caribbean was my last vacation, which was in 2007. I went to Disney World, and that's like the closest I've been, and that was very nice. But I don't think Florida is classified as the Caribbean.
My parents go to like pretty much a lot. We go on vacation every year, but apparently my parents hate the West or something because either we go to a place in Europe or we go to a place in Asia, but never to the US. It's probably because when my mother, they were once in the US and the jet lag they had was so horrible, and to the east it's apparently not so horrible. So yeah.
This is a very, very hard question that Anlin, he said, Cosmic, would you rather buy a better PC for yourself or give half
I saw that
of
too.
your money
It's very
to
deep.
to a homeless man who is about to die?
That's well,
You could just get more.
you know,
money
if between answering that between answering that question in public and answering that question in private, most people would have different answers.
It's I mean, it's like, okay, on one, there's a dying homeless man, but my life kind of 100% revolves around my computer. So if it's in a situation where my computer is like about to die and I need a new one or my life is over, I might go for the computer. But if it's like,
You don't have to give all your money to the homeless man, you know.
yeah, I know, but like if I have so little money that if I was to have any money to do that, it could be like my one opportunity. So I mean, it's like if it was a dire situation where I needed a new computer right now, I would get the computer because I need a computer to live because that's how my life is. If it's in a situation right now, I'd give it to the homeless.
If I have $500 and and that's my question, if I have $500 for a computer or to give it to a homeless man, I'll probably give like $100 to the homeless man and keep the $400 for my computer or something, and ask my dad or something. Gotta be extra $100. I don't know.
I would.
I mean, $100 just means a lot.
I wouldn't give money to a homeless because, don't get me wrong, I don't
You
have
are
homeless,
homeless.
but I would rather give him like something edible because some homeless people have serious alcoholic problems and drug abuse
I don't
problems.
know. I've always thought like, these people's lives are ruined. At least in our country, there's no way for a homeless man to have hope to have sustainable income again. So I'll just let them have their crack. Let them have their crack. It's the only thing that gives them happiness.
Homeless man
Okay.
is happy.
It's what I think. All right, let's move on because we've been
Only
on
bro 555 at Cosmic. Can you show the map that I made a few months ago?
I don't have that map anymore.
Okay.
All
sorry,
right, let's.
bro.
I hope you still have
You
money.
guys have any questions about me, about the history of Macedonia? I'm your guy, so just let you know, because I like answering questions.
Ann wants our thoughts on Chinese straddling buses.
I don't know what that is.
They are.
Chinese
Oh.
I don't know what that is either.
They are really cool. I mean, they are. I think they are more cheaper than metros or subways, and the idea of them is really cool. If you have seen those pictures or videos about them, then you should know what they are. They are like trams, but they are traveling over cars or something.
Oh, okay.
The craziest thing that only I have seen was in Hong Kong. It was a tram with 2 floors, and it just looked, because it was so thin. I always thought, why is this thing not like falling on its side?
This was a question that was asked a while ago, but I want to try to cover each question. I think it was, all right. Do you feel a distinct state culture from each state, or do you feel culture radiates from the most populous states? Example, Texas, California, and New York.
Yes and no.
I think
Maryland. Oh, sorry, you go.
I think like there are definitely some states that have very distinct cultures for themselves. Places like New York and California.
I know.
But there is parts of the country where it's just sort of a more regional culture, like Iowa, Nebraska, that sort of area. It's less of one state culture and more of like a regional Midwestern culture. But I think that's one of the best parts about our country is we have just such diverse cultures.
I think that
the diversity could be good or
like,
bad. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah.
I think that the big places,
Culture wars.
Texas, California, New York, they kind of are the center for these cultures, but that other states take these cultures and either take them to more extremes or lesser. So, for example, Texas, if you think about the Southern style, you think of the Southern style. I'm not going to go into it. But, say, Alabama, they take that Southern style and then they have their different cultures, and they kind of, change off of that. And, people in New York also have an influence on the states around it too. So there are centers for cultures, but it's not the same for every state.
Yeah. This sort of a follow-up question from them. Hold on, I just had it. What states are the Americans in this podcast from, and do you feel that can you feel your state's culture, or do you feel the culture of the bigger states around you?
No, yeah.
Yes.
I am from Maryland. The Cosmic's from Maryland.
Well, I'm not from Maryland. I'm from New York, but
I thought you were in Maryland.
I live in Maryland, but
what? You're from New York, but you live in Maryland?
Yeah.
You're from Maryland, but you live in whatever.
Yeah, I'm also a part of New York, and I do think that there is a different style that people act in New York. In New York, it's kind of more like innocent.
Innocent.
Have you ever heard the term white trash?
Oh, in New York? Do you mean upstate New York?
Yeah, sure. I'm from upstate, so
you're upstate.
White
If it's
trash.
actual.
That's kind of how I think about it. But then if you go down more south, you think of it. They're still white, but you kind of think of them more as like hillbillies and stuff like that.
I think that's
So
West Virginia.
I
New
definitely
York,
feel
it's
it.
like, is it true that New York's full of angry drivers?
Oh, well, actually, in my experience living in both New York and Maryland, I've seen that more in Maryland. I don't know. In New York, people tend to they let you into lanes. They're very nice. Here in Maryland, at least in the town I live in, people are always trying to run you off the goddamn road. They never let you in. I don't know. Okay, Dylan's World asked if you could live in one U.S. state, which one would you live in, excluding the one you live in now, if you live in America?
None.
Florida.
I would live in, most likely, if not Maryland, or maybe either Pennsylvania or Florida.
I would
live in Alaska.
Oh my god.
Just because it's cold. I hate heat. I hate heat so much.
Oh my god, I despise heat.
If I would live in Alaska, then I wouldn't have the problem. It would be always cold, and yeah.
I don't.
I would live in New York because I spent the majority of my life in New York City, and it's my home territory. I miss the hell out of it.
Also, why I would prefer to live I don't know.
Or maybe
Someone's mic is very, very buzzy.
that's okay, Chris.
It's mine. For fuck's sake! I'm trying to charge my phone. Oh my god.
Okay, I got an idea. How about I live in Delaware? There's no sales taxes there.
Shut up, Delaware.
Here, there's
Oh, I get that.
Only Bro 555 says thoughts on Paul Lepage's racist comments.
I don't.
I don't even know
I
who
haven't
that
heard
guy
Don't
is.
know what that is.
No one knows who he is. except for you.
Cosmic, why did you make Tennessee collapse in your alternate future of the USA? I don't know. I was just trying to demonstrate that the economy of states was declining very much since they were no longer getting support from the federal government. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I think Tennessee is one of the states that gets more from the federal government than it gives in taxes. So I don't know. I just picked that because of that.
I think that no, that's not my comment. That's your comment. Why does everyone want to ask you everything and not us?
All right, Ayan says, if Donald Trump becomes president, how do you think the USA will be portrayed in foreign media?
That would
Horribly,
that's
horribly. It would be an absolute disaster for our country. There's already, I don't know exactly. I remember I was reading an article about this. There was some country that like named something after Trump. They changed a word in their dictionary after him that just basically meant stupid. I don't know. If we elected him, we would be the laughing stock of the world. And
Or
it would
maybe
really
we'd
big.
we'd be a Trump card. Oh, okay.
Americans are that vote for Trump or like in German society or like at least with the liberals, they are already like portrayed as like someone who has an IQ of minus whatever.
Yeah,
And
that's
because-
pretty accurate.
Well,
At least where
technically,
Hesher is pretty liberal dominated, and a lot, especially my friends. When Brexit was, we said, okay, everyone who voted Brexit probably has, like, I don't know.
I find it weird that people display. I find it weird that people display that U.S. as stupid, even though that the United States has like I don't know, 24th, 25th best education compared to 200 other countries, and
25 isn't really the best rank.
I know, but it's better than most other countries. I mean, we're better than some. The United States have better education than some European countries. Let me tell you that.
But it doesn't affect the knowledge.
And also the United States actually has ranked 19th for the smartest country in the world. So that's basically.
Yeah, the thing about Donald Trump is that a lot of the things he says and that people are worried about, they're so extreme that chances are he won't get away with it in Congress. But the problem is, even if he doesn't get away with this stuff in Congress, we're going to be seen as a joke. We're going to be that country who has Donald Trump as their president. We're going to be seen as a joke, and just foreign policy in general is going to be very weird.
Well, I'm pretty sure
Okay, Chris, what are you doing?
Trump,
Yeah, Chris.
I'm pretty sure Donald Trump would be very aggressive in his foreign policies.
Yeah, he said he's want to murder civilians.
And would be aggressive. Sorry.
Even though if he says, I think he wouldn't do that, or the other parties would, or the other people would just block it.
He'd be a very aggressive negotiator, let me tell you that.
Yeah, but I
He
heard,
would
like, the
not get
parties are
anything
far
done.
stronger than the president. I mean, I heard that the Republican Party blocked multiple times what Obama wanted to do. And I think if the conspiracy theory that Donald Trump is a Democrat agent isn't right, then it's probably like this. Both the Republicans hate Donald Trump and the Democratic Party hate
Right.
Trump. What is he going to be able to do if both those parties will just completely block what he says?
Exactly. So that's why I say he's not going to get away with most of the stuff he wants to do in Congress. But regardless, he's our president. So people are going to look at us and say the USA has Donald Trump as our president, and that's bad.
And the
He's
president
Donald
is
Trump
the
is a
commander.
very interesting negotiator, let me tell you that.
Interesting doesn't make the country go around.
I don't know, but he
I'm
knows
not
how to
saying
negotiate.
that's bad.
You know how to negotiate, but I don't
It
know.
doesn't really. I mean, pretty much every success he's had in his life is because of the money his daddy gave him.
That's small. Okay, no. Anyway,
This is all right. Let's move on. Let's
Shadow
answer some
Green
different
Wolf.
questions.
Shadow Green Wolf, Mapper and Gaming says, if you could, this is kind of a follow. If you could move to one country that's not your homeland, what would it be?
Probably either
Canada.
Iceland or Italy
Yeah, I'll say Germany.
or Norway.
I would
would-
move to Finland if the language wasn't that hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would
Ain-
move to Antarctica.
and our
Yeah,
friends,
let's go all to
Hungary,
Antarctica.
China,
Antarctica.
We have to
Thailand,
take a couple more
Australia.
questions. We have to take a couple more questions
Yeah.
because it's go a little too long.
Oh, let me check my stopwatch. Okay,
We're
we're at 7
Ain.
over 2 minutes.
Batman,
we have a few more minutes.
Ain asks, Batman, tell us about how Macedonia has changed in the past 12 months. Not much.
Why is MapperCast uninnovative?
But,
What the hell does
however,
that even mean?
Yeah, and I wonder too.
Macedonia, despite all the good mappers, cool mappers leaving, like Mr. Owner or a couple others in the past 12 months, the community has not really changed much. Maybe changed their face, but not really changed how they are, what they do. Macedonia actually improved on several mapping in the past months. I mean, we started actually adding textures compared to 2015.
And I
Okay.
also have the feeling that like World Viper's new way of mapping is slowly like sneaking into the mix.
Although on the other hand, if you think referring to like the quote-unquote government of the community or system or people who runs the community, it gone slightly a little bit more authoritarian, but that's not much.
There's a question from I always lose the question as I'm about to answer it.
Here, I'll bring this up. This is interesting to me. Our tier mapping says, why is MapperCast uninnovative? I think what you're saying, I'm going to assume what you're saying is, basically you're seeing the same kind of format for MapperCast and the same stuff. What we tried to do this episode in specific... What?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Chris.
Chris.
What we
This is
tried
a new age
what we did
microwave.
what we did this episode, the reason it's called New Hope is because in the past few episodes we noticed the topics were a bit unrelated, to say the least. Like there wasn't too many people who could relate to them. The usual format is like 90% mapping topics and then one underlying political or whatever topic, and it seems that people usually have more to say when it comes to the social and political stuff, more so than they do the mapping, despite us being mappers. So this episode, I actually did notice we had a lot, we almost continuously had someone talking, giving their opinion on this stuff. So I think we did kind of innovate this episode, at least with as far as the topics go, because I think this definitely was a bit more interesting than usual.
Yeah, and also like the Q&A was okay. I'm not saying this, and otherwise
I'm gonna answer this question that I was gonna, but it kind of got lost to time. Who the hell asked it? All right, it was okay. Kid Survivalist asked, "What video games do we play, if any?"
I play strategy
Jesus
games.
Christ.
I
Too many.
definitely, I guess Paradox games like
Paradox.
2, Hotfire 4, EU4.
Yeah, I play Paradox games, but I also play Creative Assembly games like Rome Total War or something like that. I also play Mountain
pretty
Blade
much
Warband. Who plays Mountain Blade?
Oh,
It's
Mountain
awesome.
Blade! Oh,
Mountain Blade.
that's an amazing game.
Amazing game, yes. There's a second Mountain Blade gonna come out soon called Bannerlord.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, for those who don't know, Mountain Blade's kind of like a little like Skyrim, but you can basically, but it's more like Skyrim mixed with Paradox games. I don't know. You can just create a character, go on adventures, build a giant army, invade other countries, and become, I don't know, emperor of the world or something. It's basically sets around your character and stuff.
Yeah, those games. I think my favorite types of games are pretty much like strategy types of games, and then story-driven stuff. I love me a good story-driven things like The Beginner's Guide, Life is Strange, Half-Life, Undertale, Walking Dead. What others? Like millions of others. Those are some of my favorite games, and a lot of people diss Call of Duty, but I don't know. I really enjoy the Call of Duty campaigns. They're just like mindless fun and simulation. Just I don't want to say simulation, but I don't know. It's just fun there. I mean, I love Half-Life. The more sophisticated storylines, I absolutely adore them. Gameplay in Half-Life is amazing, but then Call of Duty's nice when you just want some mindless action. So yeah, some of my favorites. Also, Civ is a great game.
Yeah. So I play too many to list, but I'll just kind of list a few of the ones that I really like, probably the most. I play a lot of League of Legends. I've been replaying the Borderlands series.
Oh, those are great.
I like just about all of the Call of Duties, or the older ones at least. I like Chivalry. I play CS:GO. I like Dead by Daylight. I play Gary's mod. A lot of the Grand Theft Auto.
Gary's mod, the best
Yeah.
mod ever.
And also stuff like Civ 5, Total War Shogun 2,
Yeah, me and Bob.
TF2, and yeah, just stuff. So I play a lot of games, but those are probably some of the biggest ones that I do.
All right, we are past the limit, and
A
so
couple more questions. Let's take one or two more questions.
maybe we'll do that. But first, I want to do the quiz since
All right.
this is the part of the podcast where the viewer rate usually drops off. So let's do the quiz real quick to determine the mapper winner and the fan winner. So our friend over here, Mysterious, created the quiz this time. So I'm
Very
going
last
to
second.
here. Very, very last minute. But we're going to do the quiz. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, can everyone see it? Because it's usually...
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here's the quiz. So this was created by Mysterious Mapping. So first up, about Mysterious. Mysterious, I'm going to need you to full screen. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to need you
Why
to...
there's no eyes on me and Finn?
And
I
I
don't
have
know.
eyes either.
We'll figure that out. This
This
was Mysterious asking, but Mysterious, I'm going to need you to keep track of who actually wins.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
so first up, this is for the fan winner. So whoever wins this, please submit your topic once the video is uploaded in the comments. Please do it, because usually the fan winner doesn't actually do it. All right, so first up, the fan question. This is sort of about us. What is the most notable series on LEGO Loop 2000's channel that features both Cosmic and Mysterious? So you gotta be legit to get this one.
I won't
And
answer
Chris,
this.
I know you know it, so don't.
Yes, I know.
Bruh.
Alright, this might take a bit. We shall get it.
AFOE. AFOE.
Bruh.
Oh shit, I just shut off my phone.
Oh.
Oh, some guys, I think.
Divine Nigerian.
Did somebody...
Divine Nigeria.
Divine... God. Okay.
I like that name.
What the hell?
Alright, Congratulations, Divine Nigerian.
Where's
You are the fan winner. Alright. So moving on, yeah, the answer is Call of Duty World at War Co-op.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next question is for the mapper winner. So if you have a mapping show that we haven't reviewed yet, go ahead and answer this, and we will review your latest show on the next episode. So, what was the first nation featured in Cosmic Mapping's subscriber alternate nations? In the first episode, first nation, go.
Kurdistan.
Mysterious, you remember what it was, right?
Yes.
Kurdistan.
Pork.
Triton.
Pork.
Welsh mapping.
All right, congratulations, Welsh Mapping, you win. The answer
Yay.
was Republic of the Midwest. So the winners are, let me go ahead and write it down.
Wait, does Divine Nigerian have a mapping, or is it not?
He
was a fan winner.
Oh, he's the fan winner, okay.
Alright, so fan, Divine Nigerian, and Mapper, just writing them down. Who is it again?
I forgot.
Welsh mapping.
Welsh
mapping.
Jinx. Now you need to buy me a potato.
I'm not going to
What?
do that. Alright,
Then you put it with a mail.
so congratulations to the winners, and there we go.
Like, there's actually a thing we have that where in America, or maybe in America, I don't know, but if some people say something the exact same thing at the exact same time, one of them has the first person to say Jinx,
Okay,
or
yeah.
you have to give them money, or
Yeah.
or do me a favor.
I still haven't
Alright,
talked to mothers.
When I hear the
Now-
word Jinx, I always have to think of Jinx from League of Legends for some reason.
Yeah, I thought of that too, actually. So now that we've done the quiz, to end off the podcast, we have an advertisement by Batrun, but first, we'd like to give out a straw poll to kind of get your guys' opinion on this week's podcast. So, someone want to copy and paste that?
Do you have it?
I'll do it.
Could you copy paste the thing, the defeat event? I don't think
Oh,
that
I can't put links in the chat, so I think
Yeah.
one of you guys has to. I'll put it in the Hangout chat.
Yeah, me neither.
Just
I
put
tried
it-
posting the link.
Put it in the Skype chat because I don't have access to the Hangout chat for some unknown. Oh wait. Oh, never mind.
You have the form. And copy paste the
Alright, I
link in
got
the description. You can put the link in the description. I don't
Dylan, we reviewed your series at the beginning of the podcast.
So yeah, go to that straw poll and just give your general opinion on the podcast.
Oh, why did you do that?
I like how one object I want Viper back.
So, so now Batrun's going to advertise an event, and if anyone still has any questions, I'll try to answer them just in the chat. I'll type to you. Or
Alright, so someone help me post the Steam link in the chat. But for anyone who knows to stick around to the beginning of the podcast, there's gonna be a Day Defeat Source event. Me and mine were kind of planning on this. We're thinking of having mappers actively, I don't know, shoot them up or something in shoot 'em up game. I think for those who don't know, the Day Defeat Source is basically a World War II game versus Allies versus Axis, but in Source is basically United States versus Germans. But
Wow.
But it's a very popular World War II game though for all peoples. So we cannot really host a server, so we need to find an empty one. But we'll edit the announcement, and put the IP to the server in the announcement, so you guys could just go to console and type connect and add in the IP in there, and you'll connect to the server. You'll probably have maybe bots because I'm pretty sure that not a lot of people will show up, but let's try to get 10 people.
All right. So yeah, go to the Mapperdonian Steam page. I believe it's just called Mapperdonian something.
Mapperdonian Community.
Mapperdonian Community if you're interested in playing Day of Defeat. So, all right. So thank you everybody for coming on down to today's podcast. I had a blast hosting. It was very fun. So hopefully we get to do this again in the future. Big thanks to the Rat of Mapping and Mysterious Mapping for helping us out here.
Could you put the links to both?
Oh
in
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
description?
The links to both their channels, if you want to see their videos, are in the description.
And the links to the
Just to
Through the
all
struggle.
of our channels are in the thing. Also,
Yeah,
thanks to Finn, who is also technically a guest, even though he's been here for like the last 4 episodes. So yeah, thank you, Finn.
Thank you
And,
for
Where's Lee Allen? Is he part of the dentist again? Is he at the
Type
dentist
in.
again?
I got the com.
Lee Allen has been kidnapped by the dentist.
Lee Allen has been kidnapped by the dentist. Let's just say that.
May rest in peace.
Because he's been at the dentist.
We'll be here again.
Hashtag save Lee Allen.
Just as a last question, because he's been waiting, the Lucarioite mapping asks, "What's your opinion on my music? Has anyone listened to it?"
I haven't heard it.
I haven't.
So we haven't listened to it. Might check it out, but currently none of us have heard of it. So sorry about that.
All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We had a great show. I wish I had like a live band behind me to play us out like a professional talk show, but we don't. So thank you everybody for coming on down, and we're gonna go ahead and end the stream now. So
All right.
bye.
Countdown.
Bye.
One.